Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, there's that sound effect. Getting after this morning on a Tuesday. It is Happy Canada Day, July 1st. Oh, Canada. There we go, getting after it. On a Tuesday morning on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends, your daily dose of real talk, motivating content, and the most entertaining conversation you're going to find anywhere before noon. Yeah, that's a true story. We're getting up and getting after it every single day here. If you're new here, I would invite you to smash the like button, subscribe, and comment button. Trust me, you're not going to want to be that guy hitting the snooze button. You do that, you're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who didn't. That is another true story. And hey, by the way, guys, this is an R-rated experience. Yep, absolutely R. It's sometimes X-rated too. Jimmy, the guy who produces the show is nothing but a mother. Yeah, oh yeah, he's just full of X-rated content. So guys, I'd invite you to put the headphones on or tell the children to get out of here. Just tell the children to get out. Lady Drew, I see you in the comments. Your first one in today. I appreciate you. We're running a couple of seconds behind because, well, Zeglen's here, and Zeglen's running a couple seconds behind. Actually, he was on time today, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus. He's just getting a couple minutes behind here. Holroyd, Happy Canada Day from Ottawa, Ontario. Adam Holroyd, always in the lab. Adam and Lady Drew, the OGs, hanging out with us every single day here on the show. Today's show is packed with good conversation. We're going to deep dive into why dating apps. I think Marty's going to be here today. We're going to talk dating with Marty. Billis ain't dating, Zeglen's not dating, and neither is Anderson. So we're going to talk some dating conversation. Oh, we got Noah Clark in here. What's going on, Noah? I see your comments. We'll get to you in a few moments here. I appreciate you joining the show. You're joining a live morning show here on Canada Day here. Myself, AJ, John, and Marty. Speaking of pushing limits, we're going to uncover how you might accidentally be training for a decathlon. We talked about it yesterday. We're going to talk about longevity experts. You know, Zeglen, I'm sometimes curious how people can be longevity experts and they're younger than me. I'm going to get to that. We talk social proof here all the time. You know, I'm wondering if you'd hire an electrician who's not an electrician. Have you asked that? Or a plumber? Because if the guy's never electricianed before, why would you hire an electrician? So it came to me yesterday, these longevity experts that haven't lived longer than me. How the fuck can you be a longevity expert? Like, unless you're 200 years old, I don't know how you can be a longevity expert. It just makes no logical sense to me. We're going to talk about that on the show today. We're also going to talk about the Business Athlete Roundtable. I dropped it on Zeglen's desk here today. I dropped it on Marty's and John's desk here today. No, they're all curious and puzzled what the hell it's all about. We're going to talk about that as well because that's what Bannister is signing up for. Maybe Kevin Owens too. Oh, did I just call out Kevin Owens, our buddy from Jersey? I may have just done that as well here. We're going to get to center stage. We're going to talk about the art of influence, discovering how you can lead without fancy titles. I was excited to have this conversation with AJ here in the lab because AJ comes from the world of sports, and leaders are often tagged with captains or assistant captains, yet you don't need to have a C or an E to be a leader. So we're going to talk about leadership today in the well as well. We're going to get into some accountability discussions along the way. And hey, it's somewhat of a free-for-all, a lot of topics on the table. Protein break. Again, I got Zeglen in the lab who's lifted a few things. Johnny has as well. Marty has. We're going to talk about debunking protein timing. Some research has come out doing it. We're going to talk bro science today. Is there real truth behind when you should have your protein? Like right after you lift your weight or whenever it is. So buckle up, guys. It's going to be an enlightening, fun experience as we head into the first weekend in July. Uncle Keith's stress is being managed as we get through it. Jimmy, let's bring in the big man. I got to prompt him so we can get his cigar getting lit there.
I couldn't wait. I lit it up a few minutes ago.
Johnny, AJ, Johnny.
What's up, brother? You know, real quick, I got to dive into one of the things you said before I got here.
Yeah.
When should you have your protein? That's a fucking silly question. Silly. That's like saying, when should you focus on your health? All the fucking time, for Christ's sake. Jesus Christ, there's never a bad time to have your protein. There's never a bad time. Why are these thought processes so backwards? No wonder everybody's fucking stuck.
Yeah, this is true. I think the reality that there's for the longest time there has been, as long as I've been lifting weights, Johnny, I know you as well as you, AJ, there's always this conversation of, should I have my protein right after? So we know the answers. I know, just eat protein nonstop. There's just protein.
Although those discussions are only with the people, they're not fucking doing it right. The people that they're having a discussion because they're focused on a detail to keep them distracted from the fact that they're not fucking doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
those discussions didn't happen from the people that were in there fucking getting it done.
No argument there. However, we know we invite people to the show that are looking for a start, looking for a head start, looking for some positive conversations, some evidence, some factual data, some knowledge that you can share, I can share, AJ can share, that can help people. So yes, we agree and we suggest. Listen, Johnny, we don't celebrate days here. Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthday. We celebrate every day. We're all about every day. So
we celebrate loops.
Exactly, right? So I wanted to just encourage folks to continue to lean into this idea that there is no perfect time to eat your protein. You eat your protein all the fucking time, right? Although you and I specifically have grown up in Zeglen as well, where there's this world of bro science, which is, okay, I got to eat it at the 13th second of the 13 hour to get the maximum results. Well, let's talk about it. So we're getting to a little bit later on in the show. So boys, you guys have a chitter chatter, get at her for a few minutes. I'm going to walk on over there while you guys are chatting so I can get AJ's audio and shit sorted out. So Johnny,
is this going to be another one of those days?
No,
okay, I got you.
I'm pretty good, actually. I'm really confident. I'm just
listen, I got no problem. You can step away from the mic. I'll take over.
I'm going to toss the tennis ball to you, Anderson, so you can hit it over to Zeglen over there. I'm going to walk on over there.
Right. So AJ, are you going to be in the studio multiple days per week now?
Just whenever I can. It might change from week to week, but it just worked out this week to be in the studio because we have our Canada Day holiday day today. So I wasn't in the gym this morning, so I was able to come here, hang out in person with Keith.
Oh, that's nice. So ultimately, it was kind of it's a schedule thing. Because if you were tied at the gym, you'd be in your office and you could go boom right through the door and out you go. Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's nice. I mean, it's kind of a nice break, though. You know, like even when I'm traveling, even though I'm in hotels, it's kind of fun just being set up in a slightly different spot. You know.
Oh man, I love it. I pretty much. Anywhere where I could get to come on the show and hang out with you guys, I'm down for it, man. whether it's my office or coming down here live, but it is cool to see the studio that Keith has built here. It's pretty awesome.
You know, you said something a while back that really stuck, and it was you're basically saying that coming here kind of helped you keep surrounded by the right people. You know, and that was one of the things when I was talking to the nutty little fella out of the gate, you know, one of the things that the benefits that I saw was that I could talk my stick every fucking day because I look for opportunities to talk my stick because I can get plenty of good information through video, somebody talking to me, but to be able to actually have these conversations are so fucking, it's like nourishing, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%. I feel like, there's a whole bunch of different ways to say it, but, people are always talking about getting in the right room. I feel when I'm here with you guys that I'm in the right room, and I feel like everything that's shared in here, I feel I learn a lot from. I know Keith always brings me in here to talk on certain topics and stuff like that and bring my experience to that, which I'm always happy to share, but I feel like I'm learning all the time too. I feel like I leave here every day leave here every day with more than I came with, so it's a great opportunity.
Well, I love our conversations because you've obviously got you've got actual experience working with athletes, but you also have the schooling experience, excuse me. So you bring a kind of a different element to our conversations, which is cool. Kind of like Jory brought a slightly different element to the nutrition talks. Granted, that was a little different with that one because that one, what I do and what I teach is completely developed from the trench, and hers is completely developed from science. So obviously, sometimes there's a butting of heads, but not always.
Hey, you're hanging out with Keith Todd and AJ here this morning on Morning's Lab with Keith and friends. Just figure out, Jimmy, I think we're getting it sorted out, man. I audio sounding better here for sure. We may have a little bit of echoes on AJ's side, but we're still going to just sort that whole situation out. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, real quick on that level, I was going to say this time with AJ in studio is like easy twice as good as the last time. The audio from what I can hear is so much better.
Yeah, well, I spent some time sorting it out, so I do have a new thing I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to learn something here today as well. And I see you, Jimmy. Yeah, so Jimmy's going to be muting AJ. Jimmy's going to mute you while I'm talking, just so we can work that out, because we do have some audio coming back and forth. But Jimmy, I'll sort that out today. I'll add a button to AJ's setup. AJ, you got a couple camera angles there. You can press your camels back and forth. Camels. We got B Drive. Good morning, Bernard. I see you there in the comments. I love you guys when you guys show up first thing in the morning. And of course, we got Jason Brophy joining us all the way from Alberta. We got Brophy coming. Hey, Brophy, it's July 1st. It's Canada Day. Big hockey signing today. We're going to see what's going to happen across our country here today. On good old we got Marty hanging out in the green room, bringing him in a couple of minutes. And guys, I wanted to continue the conversation yesterday around the decathlon, the Peter Attia decathlon that we're all training for. And Jimmy, I would not expect you would have the video ready. If you do, we can run that. I want to talk about you do. Oh, awesome. Jimmy, let's continue the conversation from yesterday. The Centenarian's Decathlon, Peter Attia's metaphorical event, a set of 10 real-life tasks you want to be able to do in your final decade. These include hiking 1.5 miles. Well, Jimmy, let's run the clip and let's talk about it.
Think you're training for your next PR? What if the most important race is 50 years away? While you're chasing beach muscles, your future self is begging you to train for something bigger. The ability to tie your shoes at 85, pick up your grandchild at 90. Dr. Peter Attia's Centenarian Decathlon isn't about looking good. It's about living independently in your final decade. 4 pillars: stability, strength, aerobic base, and anaerobic power. The difference between thriving and surviving.
Tasks that we should be able to do as we age in life. And he lists them out as this way. And these are very much, Johnny, the principles we talk about all the time on the show. It's not about we want to have nice abs, but we want to be able to do things with our grandchildren as we get older. And let's get through them, guys. So first of all, hiking 1.5 miles on uneven ground. The key there being on uneven ground is that as we age, we should be able to have a hike of 1.5 miles. Guys, comments on that one?
Yeah, I think we're going back to what I said yesterday. If you're doing this shit in your 40s and 50s, and you don't stop, it's gonna be pretty fucking easy to keep that. I shouldn't say easy. It'll make the plan simple, easier to continue this into later parts of life. You said earlier, forgive me for jumping back. You said it's not about getting your abs, which is really not. But if you have your fucking abs in your 80s, the odds are you're going to be able to fucking do all the shit we're talking about. It means you've cared for yourself in a way that you're going to be just fine.
What the abs are showing you, Johnny, is an accumulation of great decisions. You've made good food choices along the way.
Yes, discipline is what it shows.
Right. Next one, guys. AJ, looking at you, brother. Getting up from the floor with one arm. As we age, and I know you work with athletes, you work with humans, you work with regular people that are trying to help them get through life. So this idea of getting up from the floor with one arm, I know it sounds simple, and Marty, I'm coming to you next, but it's actually not. AJ.
It's just because, obviously as we age, it can be harder to do certain things. There's certain things we're more susceptible to. There's a lot of slips and falls and balance issues, obviously, when we get a little bit older. People have one of those and they get stuck down on the floor, unfortunately, where they're in a position where they can't pick themselves up and get back up, right? And then they don't have anyone around them or that's close to them. They could be down there for quite some time, which could be problematic, right? So just having that ability to get up from the floor back to a standing position or back to a seated position, it almost becomes just like a basic, survival skill at that point, right? That age is just something that you have to do to be able to take care of yourself.
But Marty, looking at you, it's not as obvious for everybody, because I know you work with clients that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and getting up from the floor with one arm is I think when we're in our 30s and 40s, we think it's just going to happen forever, but as we age, it gets harder and harder. Marty.
Yeah, it does, man. And kind of like what you said, it's just it's a reflection of what you did in your past life.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people don't realize you getting up from the floor with one arm. We're looking at core. We're looking at stability.
Yes.
And we're looking at upper body strength. So,
Yes.
you
Yes.
don't just wake up with that. I know some people think Johnny woke up with it and me and AJ woke up with it, but we've been doing this for years. So it's definitely a great sign of what you've been doing in your past, getting up one arm. No, Keith, you're out of there. I
There's a lot of people that even have a hard time getting up from the fucking ground with two arms. I've had multiple clients, and I had an exercise I developed called belly to feet. And I would say belly to feet right, which meant they had to lay on their belly. They had to push themselves up. They had to swing their right leg around and get to their feet. And funny enough, some of these dudes would get themselves pushed up into like an all fours, stand themselves up. So now the knees are on the ground. They couldn't swing their fucking right foot out. So I had to teach them to, as their weight is coming back, to use the momentum to swing a fucking foot out. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy how the average fucking person let themselves go to the point where they can't even get off the fucking ground with both hands.
Well, AJ,
without a fucking coffee table, I should say,
yeah,
to pull themselves up.
Johnny, what's surprising, and there's a fellow that AJ and I both know, Matt Bailey, AJ, that always would say to me, Keith, one of the principles that he always leaned into, Johnny, was as you age, we should continue to have the ability to crawl. He's like, when you're in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, I want my clients, my clients to be able to crawl just like we are as a baby. And again, we take it for granted. When we get into our 70s and 80s, it's not easy to get on your hands and knees and crawl. And I know it's so when you talk about having a guy get up off the ground with a belly to feet, we laugh at it. It's not easy, John Anderson.
No, I mean, it all comes down to the fact that how he lived his life had become so limited with movement. It was huge limitations all around him. He could get up and down off a fucking chair, which really symbolized a fucking toilet. He could get up and down off of a fucking couch if he had something to pull himself with. I mean, it was pretty fucking crazy how limited his life had become.
We're talking the How to Train for 100, the decathlon you didn't know you were entering. And guys, this is for every single listener on the show right now. What we're talking about is for you. Marty, this one, carrying groceries for 5 blocks. All of us, actually. Again, it doesn't seem that obvious, but it's not easy to carry bags and bags or boxes of groceries. So Peter's like 5 blocks. Boys, 5 blocks, carry your groceries. Take it for granted, but I know, Johnny, you're hiring your assistant there in Cal. I know I'm not there, but your other assistant do that for you. But Marty, lead into this one, carrying groceries for 5 blocks.
Well, you got to think about grip strength, right? Grip strength has a lot to do. Yeah, it has a lot to do with your joints.
Yeah.
Right? So 9 times out of 10, if you have strong grip, you probably got healthy elbows, healthy wrists, healthy fingers. And a lot of my, I train nail techs and they do eyebrows and all that shit. They get carpal tunnel?
Carpal tunnel syndrome, yeah.
Carpal tunnel, yeah. But, 9 times out of 10, all of those people have weak grip strength. So, I want to. Can I just
go ahead? Why the fuck are you asking to say something? This is your fucking show.
It is your show, brother.
Jesus Christ!
I was just trying to find some polite, respectful words, Johnny and Marty, before I went.
You rip some asses open. I love it.
No, Johnny, it's just like you. I don't want to offend you, but boom!
Yeah. My apologies, but.
Yeah, Johnny's really good at that.
Johnny's really good at that. But here's the thing, and I'm sorry, Ray White, if you're listening right now, but what the fuck's with carpal tunnel syndrome? Like, have you just not jerked off enough? Like, honest to God, I'm just thinking to myself that, I don't know about carpal tunnel syndrome, man. You got to go get your grip strength.
You can't not work those muscles and then just be doing hair or doing nails or whatever they get it from all day, and you don't work on it. That's what it is.
I know, but
is it soft? Are you saying it's soft?
I am. Yes, Marty. I'm soft.
I don't know anything about carpal tunnel. I know I've had some jacked up wrists from having my wrist be torqued back too much from lifting heavy shit.
Dude,
that's the opposite of doing this. But I will say, when that wrist gets inflamed, man, it's fucking crazy painful.
I type like a motherfucker. I'm typing nonstop. I've never had carpal tunnel syndrome. I fucking lift up. I lift my weights. I take care of my life expectancy, work solo. AJ, you've known me for fucking 15 years. I've never had carpal tunnel. Why do you get carpal tunnel syndrome?
Oh, there we go. So I think there's a misconception, though, a lot of the time that just because we use something a lot, that muscle becomes strong, right? So when we deal with hockey players in the gym, we always assume that, their hip flexors are tight. The skating motion, they have a lot of hip flexion. Yeah. They're in a lot of anterior pelvic tilt. So we feel like, oh, they're tight. So those muscles just need to be stretched. They don't need to be strengthened, right? But it's a really big misconception.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we actually have to spend a lot of time strengthening those hip flexors. So they are better prepared to take on that repetitive motion, right? So even though someone's doing something with their hands all the time, you might think like those muscles are getting worked a lot. And they are, but they're not strong enough to handle that repetitive nature. And then you have an accumulation of stress there, and that's where the injury comes from. So someone doing something with their hands a lot, like Marty talking about the nail techs and the estheticians that they're working with, although they have a high frequency of activity in their hands aren't strong enough to handle that workload. And then that's when the carpal tunnel starts.
Just breaking it down to the point where it can't recover. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so they actually have to spend time doing exercises in the gym to work the flexors and extensors of the forearm and everything to actually strengthen that. And then they could handle that type of load without that accumulation effect.
So you're saying that my whole theory on carpal tunnel syndrome, I'm out.
Means you jerk off enough with both hands that you keep those muscles strong enough to not get carpal tunnel.
I've never, Johnny, listen to me.
You sick bastard.
I bet, Marty, I'm looking at you too, brother. I'm going to guarantee Johnny and Marty, there's been nobody in your world in the weightlifting, lifting up heavy shit world that's had carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah, but brother, nobody in our fucking world is doing fucking eyebrows or fucking eyelashes.
Yeah, they just get injuries, other types of injuries. They get ankle injuries and shit,
Keeping it going on here, guys. Picking up a 30-pound child. Now, this is something that we want our audience and our community to continue leaning into, right? As we age, we want to be able to pick up our children. AJ, start with you, brother. This is idea of picking up a 30-pound child. So as we age, we should be able to pick up that kid over our shoulders. Seems like common sense, but not easy for everybody.
In our case too, as you know, or as people that know us, my youngest, who's now 13 and is now turned into a young lady, but she's autistic, and there's a lot of times when she wants me to pick her up. So, I kind of have this lifelong promise to her that I'll always be able to pick her up if it's needed, right? Well, she's now, 150 pounds or whatever she weighs. So it's a little more than 30, but I think there's just certain instances where I could think as a father, if you're in a certain situation with a small child, and you need to pick them up to protect them, or I could tell you a story. We rented a cabin once out by Albert Beach. And we're walking down the path. I got Leighton with me, my youngest, and I got my young nephew with me. And all of a sudden, a bear just crosses the path like 5 feet in front of us.
That 5 feet, you said? That close?
That close to us.
Whoa. Was it a big one?
No, it was like medium size. I want to say if it stood up on its hind legs that we're looking at each other eye to eye.
That's fucking big enough to be scared shitless. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
That was Johnny last summer at the cabin, Johnny.
Yeah.
Hey, man. So in like 2 seconds, I had a kid under each arm, that probably weighed 50, 60 pounds a kid. And I'm like running back down the path with them. And I'm just like, oh shit. My nephew thought it was the funniest thing after to hear me say, oh shit, so many times. But, there's a real life example of stuff that comes up. And I'm like, man, I better be able to carry those kids, right? Or we're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? People always ask, like, what are you working out for? And obviously, you're not going to say if a bear pops up. Kids. But you always want to be ready. You never know what's going to happen. So it's better to stay ready than to have to get ready,
Well, Marty, and this is a good segue to the next one, because we've all been on an airplane. where somebody can't lift the suitcase and put it in the overhead bin, because Attia talks about this one as well, which is as we age to the Decathlon 100, we should be able to lift the suitcase and put it over our head, or else we're asking Marty, Johnny, AJ, or Keith to put it up there. But again, Marty, to your point, if you're not getting after it in the gym every single day, you're going to wake up one day in your 60s and 70s and head to the airport and get on the airplane and go, oh, I can't put this suitcase over my head. Something,
and you could see those people coming down the fucking walkway because they're old and they're fucking little hunchback, which means they can't get their hands over their head. So I see those old men, old women coming, and I just get up and ask them if I can help them before they try to go through the whole fucking thing of, proving to everybody else that they can't do it and embarrassing the shit out of themselves.
We're talking how to train for 100, the decathlon you didn't know you were entering. Dr. Peter Attia put some stuff out a couple months ago. We're getting into today with myself, John, Marty, and AJ here in the studio. We're going to get to the fit tip here in a second. Jimmy, I passed over the accountability check-in here today. We're having a great conversation with this. We're going to do the fit tip here in a couple moments. And then John is going to do the lifestyle tip so we can get after that one as well. But what Attia talks about is breaking this training down into 4 pillars. Again, the things we talk about all the time. Let's get into the first one, stability. Preventing falls and improving control. Examples of some single leg stands or planks. So just this idea, for example, guys, of being able to just literally stand up on one leg. Again, we take it for granted, but as we age, it's not as simple as that. Is it, AJ?
Sometimes stability is the often forgotten part of moving weight in general, right? Whenever we work with athletes in the gym, whenever I'm working with anyone, I let them know, like, the first thing we have to be able to do to move a load is to stabilize it. If we can't stabilize that load, we can't move it, right? The weight's going to come back down on us. We're not going to be able to stand up. So, and you'll see athletes sometimes struggle if they're going from something with a bar to dumbbells or different variations of different exercises. And now they're asked to stabilize that load in a different manner. It could be hard, right? Well, we got to stabilize our bodies to move too, right? So if we can't stabilize our body on one foot, standing on one foot, that happens every single time we walk, right? We're just transferring one foot. It's a unilateral exercise, right? So there's all these different instances that would come up in real life where we have to stabilize first and then move. We take it for granted so much throughout the course of our life that we don't even notice it until we start to struggle with that idea, right? So stability always comes first. It's the foundation for any weight that we move in the gym and in life.
It's funny because we don't talk about it enough. And even Bernard, comes in and talks about it as well, that, we should be talking about stability and agility and training and so forth. But we always talk about strength. We talk about eating, but we don't talk about this idea of just being stable on our feet, do we? Often. And maybe enough per se. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. I like I said, I think we just take it for granted for most of our life, right? It's something that happens on a subconscious level. We're not consciously thinking about stabilizing ourselves when we go for a walk or a run or stand up off a chair. It's just happening naturally, right? But until that becomes compromised as we age, and now we really have to think about it, then we notice it, right? But actually, it's a byproduct of exercise that's going to happen. When you're in the gym and you pick up a weight, you had to stabilize to move that weight in whatever path that you moved it, whatever exercise you're performing, you first have to stabilize that load before that load can be moved. So you're training it without maybe even realizing it. So, I don't know if you have to put any special attention to it. All you got to do is work out consistently, and it's going to be happening for you.
I do know somebody who has a system for everything, and his name's John Anderson. So I'm pretty sure that when Johnny does any movement in his life, Marty, he fucking has a complete system. And okay, I'm going to the toilet, and it's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, sit. And then he probably counts to 6, 7, 8.
Well, so let's see. There's systems for things that matter, and there's systems for things that don't. The idea is that a system makes you more efficient with your time, not wasting your time.
Oh, hold on. Everybody hold the fucking horses. There's somebody in the green room that we have to celebrate, so I'm going to pull out a button just specially for him. Gentlemen, let's welcome into the lab this morning, Mr. Jonathan Bannister.
What the fuck is that sound?
It's crickets. What's up, Bannister? Good to have you in the comments.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm trying to put it together too, Johnny.
Bannister, what's up? I don't know why. If he was next to me, I'd give him a little swat in the chin for giving you that sound. Just to cover you, brother.
We got Jonathan Bannister joining us on the show this morning. As we know, we've been talking about Bannister lately. He's going to come up here in hour 3. We got an hour 3 show starting in August with Jonathan Bannister leaning into digital marketing and all the things we're going to teach you guys about about the world of digital marketing. So Jonathan Bannister and myself getting after in August with an hour 3. And as we know, guys, this Monday coming up, actually, Marty, Johnny, I don't even want to fucking promote this because the guy I'm going to promote right now is on the golf course right now. So while I'm busting it right now, Johnny's busting it right now, Bannister's busting it right now, Zeglen's busting it right now, Marty's busting it right now, Jimmy, Melissa, Johnny, Matty fucking Roof is on the golf course right now. He's just fucking golfing away, just pulling out the fucking putter, stroking the shaft. And
real quick, I just got to interject. I'm not busting. I'm having fucking fun. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm having fun too.
Well, yeah, I mean, what are you busting behind there? We can't see, brother. You know, put your hands up. You got lotion on those things?
There we go.
You gotta watch him.
Is his fucking fly open? What's he doing behind the desk there? You know what's crazy? When he turns that camera angle to the side, I realized very quickly this motherfucker is standing at a sitting desk and it works. Look at this shit. Look at it. Give him a look. Let's have a look at that desk. It is a full-blown sitting desk, and he's standing, and it works perfectly. I got to take my fucking desk and go all the way to the top, and then I got to bend my knees.
So, Johnny, I did have a nickname in high school. It was No Knees. Because I don't have any knees. I'm just fucking straight. I'm just the shortest little motherfucker there is here. So
you saw the comment I gave you at the 3 Billis' picture. I told him, I said, look, when I come up there to see you, first thing we're going to do on the way to the airport, we're going to swing on by the DMV. You're going to go on in there, just bend your knees a little bit because you're really close to the fucking legal limit to get me a handicap pass. I'm not going to say the word, but y'all know what I'm saying. He's got to be. He's clear. He's clear by about an inch. He can do that with the knees pretty easily. Just wear a pair of baggy drawers. Nobody will see the knees bending.
I met Marty at the airport last summer, and I was about to
say. Hold on. Before that, when I come outside, Keith's like, "Hey," he calls me. "Hey, Marty, I'm outside." I go outside. I hear the Tesla door open. I hear the door close, but I don't see anybody until this motherfucker comes around the car. You know, usually you can see somebody's head pop up above the car. I don't see shit. This motherfucker walks around.
And it's not like some big 4-wheel fucking drive. It's a goddamn sports car.
I just realized something. I've been looking for a little man for the show, like a little dwarf, little.
Dude, look no further than the mirror.
Just gonna say, Johnny, he's already here. He's in my ear. All right, hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, Marty, and AJ here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith Burns. I invite you guys to join the conversation. Jimmy, we're going to go to the fit tip here in a quick second. 431-300-3005. Hey, Bannister, why don't you call us, man? 431-300-3005. It's the Mornings in the Lab hotline. It's funny, guys, because I know that people watch our videos because every now and then throughout the day, my phone rings. It's like, hello, it's Keith here. They're like, oh, there's somebody actually answering the phone. Yes, actually, the phone's alive 24 hours a day. 431-300-3005. Marty doesn't know, but I'm going to route it to his number in the middle of the night. Let's do the fit tip with Marty, and we'll come back with other conversations and get it going here. Marty, let's do it, brother.
All right, let's do it. All right. A lot of people use age as an excuse to neglect their fitness and neglect their health, right? So I'm here to tell you, you're not too old to get in shape. You can't use age as an excuse. Your body can do way more than you think. And guess what? There's somebody in the gym your age who's killing it right now. So we're not saying you got to be on their level. But if they can kill it at your age, you can do something. You can improve. You can work on your longevity. You can work on a lot of things, just like we talked about, stability, strength, everything, right? But the only thing holding you back is your mindset. You got it fixed in your mind that you can't do it. And that thought right there is going to lead to the decreased in testosterone, decreased strength, and the increased risk for injury. So you can get it done. Age is not a factor. There's someone your age killing it. Stop using that as an excuse. Crumple it up, throw it away. That's the fitness tip for today.
Now, in middle of transit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna be here, man, because I told you my next spot ain't gonna be close. So
I love it.
Mom's house it is. Yeah,
that's good. That's good. Hey, Marty, you're sticking around for a few minutes, eh?
Yeah, I'm here for a little bit.
Awesome. Well, listen, let's hey Jimmy, we have a hold on, Jimmy. It's the dating apps are destroying young adults, Jimmy. Let's get that clip running when you can get a second here. I got a clip here I want to get into with you, Marty, which is about dating. And dating apps are destroying young adults. And there's some psychological damage we're talking about. And I'm curious. So I gotta be honest, do you use dating app at all? Like, do you ever use one? And I'm being serious.
Only one I've used is Instagram. I don't use
any okay. And I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but you've never gone through like the whatever they are, the Bumbles. I don't even know what the platforms are. But
never was a fan. Never was a fan.
No way. Okay. Do you have buddies that have Marty along the way?
Oh, I got friends that they go crazy on Bumble and Tinder.
Yeah.
I never could get into it, man. I don't know. I'm old school. I'm an old soul compared to a lot of my friends.
I know you are. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right, Jimmy. I thought it was video, but it's actually just an audio clip. Okay, cool. Guys, what if I told you that dating apps are creating psychological damage that's making an entire generation incapable of forming real relationships? What I found fascinating about this, boys, is that we're AJ, Marty, guys are getting used to swiping. And what's happening is that we're commodifying relationships. And AJ, you said something a few months back on the show that really struck me, which was, and even you, Marty, which was you're literally one swipe away from the next girl. And when you think about the commodification of a relationship, the moment you become unhappy with something, you're like, fuck it, I don't want to commit to it. You swipe to the next one. And it really can mess with the head. Like, it's like you're not leaning into love or leaning into real reasons why you might want to put effort into meeting somebody, because you're literally one swipe to the next one, which might be better. And it's this idea that it's fucking with guys' heads because there could always be grass that's greener on the other side. And it's like, I don't want to put the work in because I don't want to try to keep working out with Marty here. I'm going to go to the next one, swipe, and then swipe and swipe. And Marty, I'm looking at you, brother. When you talk to your brothers about this and your buddies about this, is it a thing or Marty?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, man. When you have that many options, it's easy for you to get in an argument and just look for the next thing instead of trying to work it out. And I always was, my mom always taught me to work stuff out, not just jump the gun.
Yes.
But and that's for the guys and the girls. It's super unfortunate.
Well,
but yeah, I see it all the time.
Well, and Marty, what's being discussed here is that these apps have essentially treating people like products in a catalog, right? When you think about it, right? And I don't know if you guys, Johnny, have you been to Amsterdam before, Johnny, in your travels?
Yeah.
You remember walking?
Great fucking city.
You and me both. I went there on a solo adventure one day, and I was a good boy, trust me. But I went there just to kind of clear my head with my camera and just kind of spend some time. I could not talk about products in a catalog. I still, to this day, because I saw a video this week, it's such a bizarre experience, Johnny, when you're walking through the red light district and you see women in the window for sale.
Yeah, I mean, it's a culture. You got to understand what you're going into for sure.
Yes. Yeah, it's bizarre to see it, Johnny.
Yeah, well, this whole thing with the dating apps. One of the for me, like Marty said, I'm old school.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I consider. I guess you could say I'm old school, but really, part of the whole thing that I enjoy is the fucking chase.
Yes.
It's like a tiger doesn't want to go he wants to chase that fucking prey down. He doesn't want to go, some fucking animal that's sick laying there waiting to be eaten. He's not quite as interested.
Well,
and I always
the same way.
Everybody wants to be a lion until it's time to do what lions do. And
like that.
The chase is a part of it. And it's like, okay, you want to go play the lame game over there. That's fine. I'm going to stay out here and I'm going to do it the way that I think is fun.
Yeah. I always tell my friends, like, if it was easy and you got her on an online dating app, you're probably not the first one. She probably just got finished with a guy like that. So,
but see, I'm not worried about that. Goes back to our other conversation. That's the furthest thing that worries me from that one.
I think you're taking out of context. What I'm saying is, it might not be a great option. It might not work out because she probably just. And Marty, what I'm saying, Keith?
I do, because I think what you're saying too, Marty, is that, and to Johnny, to Marty's point, is that the moment that she has conflict with you, she might be just quickly swiping
That's what I'm saying.
The next one, right? And no different than the guy, Marty. We don't want to be, but
I know Johnny thinks I'm worried about the guys before that. I'm not worried about that, Johnny. No, Johnny's ready to get me. This motherfucker here. That's not what I was saying, Johnny.
Well, hey, bro, it's so crazy how so many men are so worried about what was before them. I mean, Jesus Christ.
There are 100%. Yeah, it's certainly a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about that, it means if you're really fucking questioning what you're saying is, I have big questions about my own security, my own ability to please this girl.
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. The research published in multiple psychology journals show that dating apps create these addictive behavioral patterns similar to gambling, right? So as we're talking,
I can totally see that.
As we're talking to our brethren and our brothers about getting after it in this world, this intermittent reinforcement matches the dopamine responses, Zeglen. So no different than when you're at a gambling machine, a slot machine. When you hit swipe, 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 you find a girl, you feel good about it. It's this choice overload, and it's destroying people, frankly. So
I love the word intermittent is put to this one. We got intermittent fasting and we got intermittent humping.
Yeah. Intermittent humping this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. John Anderson, AJ Zeglen, C. Marty Fit, and Jonathan Bannister in the comments here today. Let's get to the comments. We got Lady Drew getting after with a lot of stuff here. And Lady Drew, and just truthfully, Drew, sometimes I can't get to all the stuff here, so I appreciate how engaged you are. One's mindset is extremely important, so keep it exercised and always stay away from negativity, including negative individuals. Johnny, we'll do the lifestyle tip coming up for you for a second here, brother, because I know we're creating content and getting it out there on the platform as well.
Let's go.
And then we had Melissa Neiman coming back earlier talking about, I think it's food, has more to do with what people eat. And that's when we were talking about stretching and getting your life in order and so forth. So we had Melissa Neiman coming in as well. Hey, it's July 1st. Happy Canada Day to everybody joining me from Canada today, guys. Why don't you come join the conversation, 431-300-3005. And of course, you are in the Mornings in the Lab community. It is free. If you're in this show right now, it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. However, if you want to contribute to Johnny's cigar stash and Billis's cannabis enlightenment, you guys can join the community, all joking aside. We do have a $3, $5, and $20 play that will give you guys some extra benefits, get you onto the show and so forth, and adding additional benefits to that whole situation along the way here. So, Johnny, let's do the lifestyle tip, and then we're going to come back, guys, and
get up out of here, man.
And then Marty's going to go.
Have a good day, brother.
Brother, what are you doing today, pal? What's going on today?
Same old, man. I got to deal with a broken treadmill. So,
oh, you and AJ can have a conversation about broken treadmills.
Oh, AJ got a broken treadmill?
There's always something.
Always something, man. Shit.
Yeah.
There's always something. All right, let's do the lifestyle tip with Anderson, and we're gonna come back and keep the show going with some more topics.
All right, set your own standard of difficulty. What do I mean by this? So many people think that things are difficult, whether it's going to the gym, maybe it's starting a business, maybe it's running a business, maybe it's eating properly, maybe it's doing something with your wife or your kids. You think it's difficult because you've been programmed to believe it's difficult, largely because the people around you had convinced you it's difficult. When you decide to set your own standard of difficulty, when you decide what's difficult and not, you're going to realize that this shit that you once thought was difficult is not. And for business owners, once you reset a standard of difficulty that is greater than what you've been programmed to believe, it's like fucking Pandora's box opening. Unfortunately, most of us were raised or coached or both with limited belief system. And again, it's all in your frame of mind. This is what I do. I work with primary business owners, but people in general who want to reframe their minds, change their lives, change their bodies, level up all areas of their lives. Boil it down simple. It's not me saying this. Arnold Schwarzenegger said the habits that he used to be a bodybuilding champion are the same habits he used to be a businessman, an actor, a governor. The bottom line is this: set your own standard of difficulty and go get what you want. Rock and roll.
What if the promotion you're waiting for is actually preventing you from becoming the leader you're meant to be? Right now, millions of capable men are stuck in what researchers call the permission trap, believing they need a title to make a real difference. Meanwhile, their families need leadership, their teams crave direction, and their communities are waiting for someone to step up. Robin Sharma's groundbreaking study of informal leaders proved that influence comes from character and competence, not credentials. The most effective leaders often have no formal authority at all. Using the proven IMAGE framework, innovation, mastery, authenticity, guts, and ethics, you can build real influence starting today. Stop waiting for someone else to give you authority. Your leadership journey begins the moment you decide to add value wherever you are. The world needs a leader you already are. Lead without a title and watch how everything changes.
Some leadership discussion here this morning on Mornings and Live with Keith. Friend, have you ever felt like you're stuck waiting for someone else to give you permission to make a real difference? Well, we've got AJ here who's trained a lot of athletes, a lot of sports teams. We're going to talk, and I've been in business. Johnny's been in business. Like you have ideas, you have visions and the capability to lead, but you're trapped behind invisible barriers because you don't have the right title or position. I want to get into a conversation today about leading without a title. We don't need to be the president, the CEO, the VP, the captain, the assistant captain. Anyone, regardless of their position in the hierarchy, can build genuine influence and create meaningful change. Let's talk about breaking free from what researchers call the permission trap and discovering the 4 natural leadership powers that you already possess, but might not even know that you have. AJ, let's start with you, brother. When you talk about leadership and you think about leadership from your point of view, especially working with athletes, why do you think athletes feel like they need to have the title before they can be considered the leader?
Yeah, great question. I think sometimes they feel that way just because the structure of how it's been set up. Like within the team, there's a hierarchy that's kind of existed in sports, from the management to coaches to captains, so they've kind of created this pecking order on how things are going to be communicated.
Yes.
So I think that sometimes discourages people from thinking that they can contribute in that manner, right? But really, at the end of the day, as we've talked about, leadership comes down to trust. And trust is going to be built by your actions and people actually seeing how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself, what your habits are, how you structure your own day, right? So they'll notice when you show up, they'll notice how hard you work, they'll notice. And people are drawn to that. There's like a gravitational pull to people who do those things really well. And so they're just going to start noticing, regardless if you got the C on your jersey or not.
Johnny, I noticed you really leaned in when AJ said that, because that really struck a nerve with you. That matters, this idea of structure. And what do you say to somebody who's like, well, I don't know if I should because it's not the structure of the organization or the sports team? What's your response to that guy who wants to be a leader but is reluctant because he feels like he's caught in the structure, Johnny?
Well, I think leadership, I guess if you just boil it down, there's so many different ways that you can look at leadership. Leadership is the guy that's willing to do what everybody won't do in that moment. He's that guy that'll pull his pants down first. So if you display all these different roles, and you see it all the time, you see sometimes like you have these leaders in athletics, but they really don't fit into the bylaws of the organization, but they're so good at leading outside the lines, they let them do it.
Yes.
But you have to be, Jesus Christ, to be one of those guys, you have to be so locked in at what you do. You can't miss. If you're going to be outside the lines of the systems of organization, you don't have a mistake to make.
I agree with you, Johnny. And I think that I always, as I was working with my team at building ICC, and even today with the team I'm building today, I love encouraging leadership. And to me, leadership is by showing as an example, not just talking. Right. I believe leadership is very, very much about putting yourself into action and then others watch you. No different than how you talk about, being a parent, Johnny. Your kids don't listen to what you say. They listen to they watch what you do. I think that's the best example of a leader. And AJ, I go back to hockey, right? I think about some of the great hockey players. Mark Messier, one of the greatest leaders, hockey captains of all time. Sure, he had a big voice in the locker room, but when he got onto the ice, he delivered and nonstop delivered, right? And that to me is the idea.
And that's because when you're leading by example, it's a different type of leadership. Especially when you do it everywhere, you do it in all areas. And, I have it even like if in my team, I'll find someone who maybe they're just in charge of leading a few other people and they start to, veer outside of the system. But they've found some sort of a niche where they're doing well. I'm like, look, I'm good with this, but you fuck this up, you get back inside the system because the system is there to protect you. It's there to protect the people you lead. But keep in mind, a good leader sometimes will find a better system, and we depend on that.
Yes. Well, and AJ, when you're the person that others turn to for answers, your title becomes irrelevant because you're putting the work in, you're showing the results, and over time, what somebody calls you really doesn't matter, does it?
Going to be, at the end of the day, it's going to be determined by your actions, right? And that level of trust that's built up. I always love a great example of it is, I love the movie Gladiator. I think we probably all do, right? But you'll see in there, right, that Maximus, he's the true leader of Rome, and he has control of the army. He's just a general in the army, right? But he has actually more pull, and people want to follow that more than the actual emperor, right? Joaquin Phoenix, I can't remember his name of his character in the movie, right? But it's just a great, he holds the title, he holds the technical position to lead the country, but Maximus is actually the one that has the true leadership, right? So, just another great reason to love that movie.
Well, and it's interesting to hear you say that because Harvard Business Review's 2021 landmark study showed that informal leadership effectively delivered shocking results. They found that informal leaders, AJ, consistently outperformed formal managers in key metrics, including team engagement, innovation, and problem-solving speed. The reason is profound. Informal leaders, Johnny, must earn their influence through character and competence instead of just because they were given the letter or given the title. So if I'm consistently showing you, Johnny and AJ, that I'm leading you with my character and my competence, what's going to happen is that it's going to create a fundamental difference in leadership quality and effectiveness. You guys are naturally and inherently going to trust me regardless if my title says it or not.
100%. 100%. My daughters competed on national. They're actually 4-time national championship cheer team. And so the middle one was, as a junior, she was really good as a sophomore. As a junior, it just seemed like she was kind of a shoo-in to be a captain, right? And she wasn't a captain. When she came out, she's like, Daddy, they didn't make me a captain. I said, you just do what you do. You'll end up leading the team.
Yes.
You don't have the title, but they're looking for you. They didn't give you that title because they want you to stretch. They want you to do what you do. She was a savage. She worked hard like in my lifestyle tip, I had set her standard of difficulty so high that she pulled the rest of the team along, showing them what was possible. And so they had 2 captains, but in essence, they had 3. And so it was really kind of a really strategic move by the coaches because they were making her stretch. They were basically getting a 3rd leader on the team without actually having to put the title without putting a 3rd captain on. So they've always been a 2-captain team. But it was 100%. It was the leading by example. And she was the one given the talks before they would go out on stage, not the captains.
Yeah. Well, and the same thing's happening right now in our local market with our hockey team. Is we're bringing a Hall of Fame hockey player he's been out of the game for a couple of years with some health issues. He's coming back into the game. Johnny. He's mega Stanley Cup winner, one of the greatest athletes coming out of Winnipeg. He's joined our hockey team, Anderson, but he's not getting a title. He's not getting a letter. Why? Because they don't need to, right? He's just, by him, just like your daughter, by him showing up and being the natural leader, he's going to help bring the other guys along. And I think that's the same way, you know, when you bring strong people into the room or into an organization, you don't need to effectively give them a title.
100%. And then that's one of the things I said to my daughter. I said, look, these other two girls that got the title,
Yes.
they actually got the title of captain. They needed that to perform at a high level. You didn't, and they recognized that. So if they gave you the title in one of these, they were going to have a hell of a time getting one of these other ladies to perform at the level they needed them to. So a good coach recognizes how to kind of maneuver within the personnel.
Yes. Wharton School's research on persuasion and influence identifies the emotional triggers that drive human behavior. Their 4-part influence formula demonstrates how understanding motivation, building credibility, creating reciprocity, and establishing social proof can generate compliance and assistance from anyone, regardless of hierarchical relationships. This isn't manipulation. It's understanding human psychology and using it to ethically create positive outcomes, AJ. It's as simple as that, frankly. And then University of Michigan's latest research on the currency of collaboration shows that influence operates like an economy. Those who this seems common sense, but it's funny because sometimes common sense is so common, but those who consistently add value, solve problems, and help others succeed build influence capital that can be leveraged when needed. Again, back to a assistant captain or captain without the letter, you go and you just keep showing up and putting in the work. What happens is that the most influential people in an organization are often not the highest ranking, but those who have invested most heavily in influencing the company. Are you surprised by that?
Not really surprised to hear that, but like you said, sometimes it's not so common, or we can miss stuff that's right in front of our face. But yeah, I think that person with the influence, you know, that influence is built by their actions. Again, I know we keep coming back to this, but that trust and that influence is, you know, you have influence because people trust you. People trust you because you've shown them that you can be trusted.
Yep.
Right?
The evidence is there.
You're right. And that's it's really as simple as that, right?
You know, and when you develop a lifestyle or a loop or daily habits,
Yes,
that you execute nonstop, and other people see that you're like one of the few that does these things nonstop, you separate yourself so quickly. And almost by default, there's going to be some leadership built there because you're doing something that others are not. And just by that one element right there, that's evidence that you have the nuts to continue to do something when most people say, oh, I need a break, I need a breather, I'm burned out. And so it's really, I always tell people, look, if you want to separate yourself from the masses, just pick one thing and do it every fucking day. And it will not be long before people look at you and go, how do you do that every day? Every day, though. Every fucking day. There's no holiday. There's no birthday. Every fucking day.
What I love about that statement is how simple it is, but yet how equally difficult it is for 99.9% of every human being on the planet.
Dude, and I'm telling you, simple and difficult is my jam. I've fucking built myself on that.
That's why I fell in love with you, John Anderson.
Put your hands up where I can see them when you say that.
There's no nation. There's no chemistry going on between me and Anderson at all.
As he sits there and fucking throttles that fucking stick, you sicko.
Generation X, man, the guys on the show right now, particularly those aged between our demographic of 30 to 55. Oh, Bannister, you're right in the middle of that. Face unique challenges in this landscape. The men, the women, these men that enter the workplace expecting traditional career progression, but find themselves in a rapidly changing environment where influence matters more than hierarchy. They have the experience and the capability to lead, but often feel stuck waiting for formal recognition. So I have a different point of view. If you're waiting to be recognized, get the fuck out of there. Because you either need a new boss or you need to go get a new environment. because you shouldn't wait to get recognized. You should go put the time in, put the work in.
Oh, you shouldn't fucking wait to do anything.
I agree. I'm with you there. Exactly. Like there's no waiting to be recognized, because if you're waiting to be recognized, you're waiting to be reacted. Right? Get up, get after it, and take control of your life, brother. Like if you're waiting for somebody to pat you on the back, get up, fucking don't hit the snooze button, come listen to our show and go somewhere else.
If you think you need to wait, you think like an average man.
Yes. Alice Walker's insight captures the core problem. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. They just don't think they have any. When the reality is, it's just like when people don't vote, and I know that don't vote for an election, then bitch about it. So this is not a political show, but I don't care if you're voting for your election or voting for your town council or voting at work. If you're not going to fucking have a voice, and don't bitch about it. You have to speak up or be a part of something or do something else. Get the hell out of there. You can't wait for permission. AJ.
Yeah, just go. It's really that simple, just go.
The nerves, or as I would say, Johnny, hey Gladys, walk. My mom, AJ, on Sunday, she was over here for grad, and she's telling us that she downloaded this new walking app. And
He's calling her Gladys because he doesn't want to call her mom, because I'm going to chew him up if he does it again.
Hey,
I said, how do you spell mum? He says MOM. I'm like, come on, man. Jesus Christ.
what do you call your mom?
Mom? Like when I'm talking to her?
Johnny?
Yeah. No, I listen. The East Coasters, like the Boston people, do the same thing. I bust them up also.
Because Johnny wants us to say mom.
Oh, like really?
Well, it's actually more fun just to be twisting on the little guy's hat. He's just fun to get riled up.
but my mom was here on Sunday, and she got this new app, and she downloaded the app because it's going to tell her how to walk. I was like, Mom, just call me in the morning, save yourself $12, and I'll tell you to, Gladys, walk. Just go get your walk in. Guys,
there's a thing on our phone that we can get besides an app. It's called an alarm.
That's it too. But guys, the neuroscience of leadership reveals why this approach works. When people choose to follow someone, their brains release oxytocin and dopamine, chemicals associated with trust, connection, and motivation. When they're forced to follow due to hierarchy, stress hormones like cortisol are released. Now think about it. When you're working with somebody, either with colleagues or an organization, if you don't like the douche, you're probably not going to follow them. You're not going to have any pleasurable feelings in your brain. If you're encouraged to go follow somebody, you're going to have oxytocin, dopamine, and you're going to follow a leader. So again, don't get caught up in having to have a title. Get caught up with getting up, getting after it, not hitting the snooze button, going to achieve your big goals. And I'm going to think the people are going to follow you that are also looking to achieve their big goals. Johnny, here's the reality, right? If somebody knows you're getting up and getting after trying to achieve your big goals every single day, I'm going to think that somebody along the way is going to find your journey and go, I want to do that too. And you don't need to have a title to do that. And that's kind of the point of this. You don't need a title to be a leader. Leadership is about expressing your absolute best and inspiring others to do the same. Second, turbulent times built great leaders. Challenges and obstacles are opportunities to demonstrate. Johnny, we don't judge a leader by how great they lead during good times. You judge a leader by how they lead when shit is gone sideways. And then
leaders don't talk about being leaders.
Exactly.
It's like you don't find fucking leaders say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a great leader." That's the guy that's not going to be a fucking leader because he's not focused on the shit he needs to do to become a leader.
Yes. Third, the deeper your relationship, the stronger your leadership. And then fourth, to be a great leader, be a great person first. Character and integrity are the foundation of all sustainable influence. And you know what? I'm glad this is a great way to wrap this one up, because when I met Matt Roof, by the way, who's starting Kindness Rising this Monday, coming up at 7:30 Eastern time, I fell in love with the guy's character, AJ. I met this guy and I started leaning into him and started talking to him. I'm like, this guy's got a character that you just don't find all over the place. And when you find people like that, you want to walk towards them. You know what I mean? Right? So just be a great human being and you watch what happens. Folks are going to follow you along the way. There you go. There's our leadership discussion this morning. Morning Labs, Keith and Friends.
Well, the last thing I want to say with that is if you lead yourself, that's the first fucking step.
Yeah.
You can't lead yourself. You can't lead someone else.
Yes. All right, guys, listen, we are coming to the second hour on Mornings in the Lab, the big morning show here on the big Mornings in the Lab network. Hey, Johnny, we were talking about height yesterday. You're talking about teasing me about height yesterday. Remember Kevin Owens, Johnny? Kevin was on the show last week. New Jersey basketball guy, absolute famous
7-footer.
Overseas famous, right?
Yeah.
Well, had a good chat with him, Johnny, and maybe I'm going to be getting you to send him a text later today because he's quite intrigued about joining the network, Johnny.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Told me a funny story that when he was in South Korea, he's going to tell it on the show. I'm going to butcher the story, but I quickly got to tell it. When he was in South Korea, and I guess in basketball, they have to be under a certain height. He said he was putting on the shortest pair of shorts and I'm pulling him down his body. And then just so it was long enough to get over his knee where he could get a little bend in his knee, but yet not show that he was bending his knees. So he could pass the height test, right?
I love it.
Yeah, Kevin Owens, who we're working hard to get Kevin back on the show, get Kevin his own segment, and bring the value he's bringing to his the work he's doing with all those overseas athletes. What he does, AJ, is guys that are going overseas and coming back and going, okay, my career's done. Now what? He helps overseas athletes get themselves sorted over there and get themselves sorted.
Well, the thing about it is he's talking basketball, but he could open that up into baseball.
Yes.
There are so many there's so many different types of overseas athletes, even football. I mean, I believe NFL Europe guys get, pitched out of that and there's nowhere to go. There's tons of overseas. That market's huge.
Yes. Yeah, hockey too. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Jimmy, let's let's keep the conversation going with the boys here. I want to get into let's continue the conversation with leadership. Before we get into a conversation with John and AJ, this is going to be a fun one. I want to get to one with both you guys, which is push-ups versus dips. Your guide to superior chest gains. But before we do that, Jimmy, do you have a clip for why today's leaders are terrified of tough decisions? I think we do maybe have one. If you have that, let's run that one. Let's continue the conversation around leadership. This show's about business, fitness, lifestyle. And last week, a leader of the free world, his name's Donald Trump. Yeah, true story. All politics aside, made a decision that presidents that have not made for the last 30 some odd years. His decision was to go bomb Iran. And again, all opinions aside, he made a tough decision. And most leaders are terrified of tough decisions. Most leaders, Johnny and AJ, don't even make a decision because it's just easier not to make a decision. Are modern leaders too soft for real success? And I'll tell you, Johnny and AJ, when I was going through ICUC and growing ICUC, and before I got the proverbial phone call, I was making tough decisions every quarter. We were going through the pandemic. And as we were going through the pandemic, my company at the time was doing this. All the companies around me were doing this. Why? Because we were making fucking tough decisions left and right. Because that's what you got to do as a leader. And I was proud of those decisions. Those decisions cost me my job. True motherfucking story. But I would make them every single day again. Why? Because leaders got to make decisions. Whether you agree with them or not, back to what Trump did in Iran, whether you agree or not, he made the fucking decision. There was no decisions being made for the last 4 years in the United States. So decisions are important. Jimmy, let's run the clip, Jimmy, if you have it.
Every leader faces that moment, alone with a tough decision, weighing the stakes. But watch what happens when you push through the uncertainty. Confidence builds. You start moving with purpose, making calls that matter. Your expertise becomes your compass, turning complex problems into clear strategies. Then something powerful happens. You're not just leading yourself anymore. You're building others up, sharing what you've learned, creating leaders who will create more leaders.
Not always about being right. It's about having the courage to make decisions and own the outcomes. And this goes back to what John often says is you got to lead yourself before you can lead others. And I think, Johnny, let's just start it with the snooze button. If you don't have the cojones to get your ass out of bed to not choose the snooze button, you're already terrified of making a tough decision throughout the rest of the day. Let's lean into that. Start there, brother.
I mean, I think it just goes back to the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And people that don't subscribe to that are lying to themselves.
Yes.
I mean, it's so, I mean, it's use myself as a perfect example. Let's just say that I somehow get a little sidetracked mentally and I make a poor food choice. It's a self-sabotaging behavior.
Yes.
Fuck, man. It is so easy to let that one poor decision turn into 2 and 3 and 4.
Yes.
Because it's a mindset, you know, and I think when it comes down to it, a leader, this whole conversation, it's like there's a second element to this whole thing. It's like great men help other men be great. And that's another element of leadership as well. Is like it's such a complex term, if you will. But it all starts with yourself, 100%.
AJ, can a true leader be effective if they're primarily focused on being liked first? And the second part to that question, you have had leaders in your lifetime, I know you have, that were probably more focused on, I want you to like me, instead of you're looking at them for their leadership qualities. Do you think too many leaders are too focused on being liked instead of being a leader, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a balance there, right? Between I think there is a way to do both. And I think that sometimes we think it's an either or situation, right? I've seen it go too far the other way too. I've seen people so worried about being liked that they're incapable of leading and making the decisions that they know they should make.
Yes.
I've also seen people be so disliked, but they try to brush it off as being like, well, I'm a leader. I got to make tough choices. I don't care how it affects the people around me, right? And I think that there is probably a balance in there where you can make tough decisions, but if you communicate them to your crew, to your people, you probably have the capacity there to make those tough decisions and move forward. And people respect the honesty, the clarity. They respect the direction. They respect that you made a decision, whether they agree with it or not. They can still respect you through your actions, right? And I think that just like a lot of different things, no matter how we're leading, if we're leading ourselves, if we're leading other people, if we're leading a company, it's often if there's something that we're avoiding doing, it's probably a clue for us to look into it a little bit deeper, because what we want is probably right on the other side of that, right? So it's
100%.
Whatever we're avoiding doing, usually whatever we want for ourselves or our company or the team that we're leading is right on the other side of the work that we're avoiding, right? So just use that as a little clue for yourself and dig into that a little bit deeper.
I have a saying that sums up what you're talking about, which I fucking love. I so agree. It's the magic you're looking for is hiding in the work you're avoiding.
Right. Yes. Beautifully put.
I like that. I
love that. Yeah.
Johnny, AJ, what I learned as a leader through my lifetime of growing ICUC was that what I learned was I wasn't so much focused on you, John, or you, AJ, liking me. I knew that I had to make a decision on behalf of 400 people instead of one. So if I'm making a decision on behalf of the company, you will or you won't respect me, whether you like me or not. It's not really about it, but I'm making the decision on behalf of everybody. And once you wrap your head around that, I think you move quickly away from worrying about somebody liking you, because I'm not worried about you liking me or you liking me. I'm worried about you guys liking the decision or not liking the decision I'm making on behalf of the whole company. And I think that's where often leaders get confused, which is, no, you need to make a decision on behalf of 500 people or 1,000 people, not just one or two people. And there's a skill set involved in doing that, because you got to separate yourself and going, okay, I got to make this decision. It's going to affect the whole organization, even though it's going to affect this guy and this guy. But everybody else is going to respect or not going to respect the decision. At least I'm making a decision. Am I making sense?
Yeah, 100%. And to put into like someone who's listening, like an everyday person who is not in that high up position leading 500 people. It's like when you think of you're doing things that people may not approve of or people not like or maybe talk smack about it, right? Think of it like this. 87%, excuse me, of people are unhappy with their lives. The 13%, those are the people that are kicking ass. They're happy. They're doing what they're doing. Well, generally speaking, when you're making these hard decisions, that 87%, they're the ones that are going to be unhappy. The 13%, they're going to approve of your hard decision. And so you got to think to yourself, you know, when you're trying to make hard decisions and you know you're going to get some sort of, you know, negative feedback, who is that negative feedback coming from? Because are you trying to please a group of people that are in a club you don't want to be in?
That's exactly.
I mean, granted, it's not really talking about it's taken from your business, you know, scenario into more of a real life, because people in general, they're trying to make these hard decisions just to get their life fucking going.
Yes.
And so I kind of took what you said, which is like a, you know, CEO version. Yeah. I just try to distill it down to every day. Like if these hard decisions you're going to make, that you're trying to make, and you know you're going to get shit for it. You're only getting shit from the people that are in a club you're trying to get out of.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely correct. Hey, Global, I see your comments there. AJ's name banner is mislabeled. You are absolutely correct. I appreciate it. You know what's cool, Global, is that you saw it and you noticed it and you called it out. And I love that because you're paying attention to the details and you're paying attention to the show. Hey, we're talking leadership. We're talking about why leaders today are so terrified of making tough decisions and how we can fix it. Myself, John Anderson, and AJ Zeglen here in the lab this morning on a Tuesday of the Loop here on Canada Day. We're going to get into a conversation in a quick
minute. Real quick, what is Canada Day? Is that like your fourth?
Yeah, that's exactly it, brother. Yeah, it's our fourth.
Right on.
Yeah. So,
you guys, what do you guys do up there? Do you like, is it like fireworks and shit like down here?
Exact same thing. Yeah, that's exactly
right on.
Yeah. It's exactly it. So it's kind of our Canadian long weekend here. Some days, that's why AJ is probably off here today. Exactly.
Well, yeah, I was going to say too about the leadership is,
yes.
I think it's too about the delivery, right?
Yes.
I have no doubt that we've probably all had to make tough decisions in our lives about the different companies that we've led and through a work experience or teams and groups that we've led, populations that we've worked with. But I think that you can make that tough decision and still, you know, we're talking about these people respecting your decisions or not. I think if you find a way to deliver it, right? When I took over the gym, I had to make a lot of tough decisions because we basically looked at the bottom line of the gym and we were like, hey, we can't support this many full-time salaries. Okay, well, we're going to have to let some people go. The company gave me the option of being like, okay, well, we'll let these people go for you. And I said, no. I said, I'm the one with the really, really close relationship that have worked with these people for so many years and came up with them working in this gym. Like, I will call them and I will talk to them and let them know. So it's not just coming from someone above me, you know, so I can feel empathy for their situation. I know that they're not going to like the decision at all. And obviously none of them did. I can say that we're all still friends to this day. And I think, you know, I really respect them and like them. And I think I get the same thing back from them, even though we had to go through that decision that was made. And I think it was just in how it was delivered, right? And that's an important part of leadership is there's a message, there's a decision that has to be delivered in a way, I should say it doesn't have to be. If it is delivered in a way that resonates with the people that you're telling it to or sharing it with, I think there is a way to make tough decisions and still have trust and still have respect. And, you know, I've had decisions made that didn't go my way working in that company. As you know, the man who runs that company, I have the utmost respect. I couldn't have more respect for a human being, you know, than that individual. I've had tons of stuff that I feel didn't go my way in there. I still have the ultimate amount of respect for the person, just didn't go my way. They delivered it in a way that I felt was just allowed me to trust their decision, even though it's not what I wanted at the time, if that makes sense.
100%. I love being a leader. I love it because to me, Johnny, AJ, being a leader is the ultimate form of human connection. Because if I can form a connection with you, both you, Johnny or AJ, and you can trust me and you can gain confidence in me, and then I can lead us, that's pretty powerful. It's like being a parent. It's like being a partner. And it's not about being manipulation. It's about saying, I take the responsibility on of saying we have a shared goal. Johnny's no different than you and I working together. You met me a year ago. You're like, I think this nutty son of a bitch is doing something kind of crazy.
I just got to jump in that real quick. And that's one thing that really cool. Like, and you find this, like you and I are perfect examples,
yes,
right? Is that we're both leaders in our own right.
Yeah.
When you end up connecting with other leaders and everybody understands, okay, you know what? This is where this is my strength. That's your strength. Yeah. And I'm happy as a leader. I am so happy to take the fucking captain's hat off. I'm a good Indian, man, because it's nice to fucking have someone that knows more than me about something I want to be successful at. Because I'll fucking get the job done. I'll get it done well. And it's nice just to have to execute. And so it's great when you find another leader who needs to be led in your expertise. That's a fucking amazing experience.
Keith, AJ, and Tonto here this morning.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? It's so nice. Sometimes it's just when you're confident in somebody leading, I am fucking happy, especially if I know that, hey, you know, this motherfucker knows more than me in what we're doing. I am not going to fight for that fucking leadership hat. I am happy to sit back and say, let's fucking go. I can push like a motherfucker. Which way do you want me to push?
Yeah. Well, you know what, Johnny, and I'll say something too, brother. And I'll look at you too, AJ. I've never been in this situation before. Yes, when I grew ICUC, I had some great leaders around me, but I was still the effervescent leader. Where in this situation, Johnny, I started the thing, but you've been with me now for a year and a bit, and you're just as much part of this as I am. I love leading because I know when you're doing something, I'm doing something. We're both going in the same direction, right? And
when I started to understand you, and I realized, okay. I'm literally thinking in my thoughts went. This little nutty son of a bitch had a fucking social media company before social media. Okay. He has some level of understanding about the future that I don't, and I will probably never have that. So this is a good guy to partner up with because he's got a strength that I'm not going to have. And I've never really seen someone project something that far away. So I was like, yeah, fuck. I'm going to get behind this dude.
But again, back to my original comment, it is such a wonderful feeling because it's a wonderful way to connect with people. When you connect with somebody and you lead, man, because you put your humanity,
100%.
It's such a rewarding feeling at the end of the day too.
Well, and then what happens is like me being an Indian in this project, right? Yeah. My leadership, obviously, in my areas rise to the top, and they totally help the situation. But they're not mistaken for where they fall in line in the totem pole. Yes. My leadership skills are great supporting skills, but they're not futuristic visionary skills like yours.
Yes. Speaking of skills, let's get into it. Johnny, I know we're at the bottom of the hour. Can you stick around for an extra few minutes, brother?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. So Jimmy, I want to get because we're going to move leadership to what these guys both lead in, which is helping men get strong. AJ Zeglen changed my life when I adopted the business athlete philosophy. Many ways, John Anderson's changed my life in the last year and a half with the things that we share, habits and showing up and these things that I thought were somewhat fluffy and superfluous. John's like, no, they're fucking real, man. Like, that's not overcomplicated. And that's something I've really leaned into with learning with John here. So I want to talk about what's really cool is that we talk often about mental strength, emotional strength. Let's talk about some physical strength for a few moments, guys. And the big debate, push-ups versus dips. Two powerhouse exercises promoting massive chest gains, but which one truly reigns supreme? Jimmy, let's run the opening clip and let's have a conversation with the two big men about push-ups versus dips this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jimmy.
Push-ups versus dips, the ultimate chest-building showdown that every man needs to understand. Whether you're just starting your fitness journey or pushing for that next level of strength, choosing the right exercise can transform your results. Pushups offer accessible, versatile training that builds balanced muscle activation, while dips deliver that intense lower chest development you've been chasing. The science is clear. The choice is yours. Which exercise aligns with your goals? Your chest gains depend on making the smart decision today.
Tips. I'm going to start with the two big men. Johnny, starting with you, brother. I'm coming to train with you. What are you telling me first? Do I do them
Well,
push
the fucking last thing we're going to fucking worry about with these exercises is, of course, yes, the chest. But that's like, that it almost doesn't matter, right? Because there's so much more that we're looking at for these exercises. Like, they're both going to be great. But the fact that we're keeping the chest as our focal point of our intention is retarded. You know, you basically got to take in, like, I'll use myself as a perfect example in many clients. When someone has veered away from doing dips, like when I actually had a period where I stopped doing dips, largely because one of my home gyms, I didn't have it set up, right? And I started to develop some shoulder issues, right? And came down to the fact that there was some flexibility that started going away because I wasn't doing dips. So I think the dip is a great movement for the chest, but I think there's so much more to the dip that I think the dip almost is like it's a conversation in itself, not really about the chest, if that makes sense.
Yes. Zeglen, what's your comments, brother?
I love them both. I think one of the biggest mistakes we make in the fitness industry nowadays is trying to lead people to believe that if they do something this way, then it's wrong, right? Where I think like, hey, man, there's a million different variations of push-ups and of dips. They're both great exercises. We can both find a variation or progression that probably works for you. Let's take advantage of both. Like, why do we only have to choose one, you know?
Yeah.
Why do we want to limit ourselves to one thing? And I see that a lot in the fitness industry, right? You'll see a lot of videos, people being like, oh, never do these again. Only do these. They're whatever, ridiculous. 20% better or whatever. And it's like, no, why limit ourselves, man? Let's take advantage of everything. Yeah.
Well, and I will often do set of dips to failure, right? And then do push-ups to failure. Once I do dips to failure, I'm not doing many push-ups compared to doing them fresh. So I'll often do them together, but it's just a chest focal point. I think when you're just looking at, let's just talk about the chest, I think we're really it's too narrow.
What I'm enjoying about this conversation, guys, in many ways, it leads back to how we started the show about Dr. Peter Attia's the decathlon to live to 100. Like, Johnny, our ability to do push-ups, because we can do them anywhere. I'm going to think, John, again, you work with a lot of men clients that are struggling to lose the body fat, lose the gut. As obvious as it is, a push-up is not easy for everybody, is it?
Yeah, you do them off the knees, you know, and when you good doing them at the knees, like if someone's a savage, I'm going to have them do, like I got a client right now. He's just having a hell of a time getting to the gym. I'm like, look, I don't care. I need 10 minutes. I need 10 minutes in your living room every morning. One day is push-ups. The next day is body squats. That's it. I don't care. 10 minutes. This made a huge fucking difference. But someone that's a savage with push-ups, they're going to start with their feet up on a chair. When they can't do it, they're going to drop their feet off the chair to the ground. When they can't continue, they're going to drop their knees. Yes, it's considered a girl push-up, but when you fail in a girl push-up, you have fucking put some effort forward.
Keith and AJ and Johnny. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends. We're getting after it here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get Johnny out of here, and he's got his family showing up here for July 4th. We're talking push-ups versus dips, your guide to superior chest gains. Here's the reality, guys. Just fucking do something. Just drop down and do some push-ups. That's it. Just do something. Get up. Don't hit the snooze button. Maybe kiss your wife. Hug your kids. Right? Don't overcomplicate life. That's
move. Just move.
One thing I can say I've learned from Johnny is exactly that. And learning how to monetize just that. What's that? Simplicity of life. Johnny, you said something, and I know our universes are so lined up. You dropped the big man's name in your segment. Did you know that I'm working on some stuff with the big man being Arnold? Right? Every single morning I get some great content from Arnold, and I'm gonna work some of this stuff into our show, Arnold's advice. And one of the pieces I read about him lately was, my language, just paraphrase, all you motherfuckers are overcomplicating everything. Just Get up and get moving and make life simple. So we're going to have some fun with that with some Arnold's advice, extra stuff.
Well, and the thing about it is, when I was a kid, literally, I got put in those special classes.
Yes.
I went to my mom in private and I asked her, my mom, my mama. And I literally asked her, and this is a serious fucking moment. I actually, because my confidence was so rattled, I got put into these classes.
Yeah.
I literally asked her with a straight face, about ready to cry. I needed to know, honestly. I asked her, I said, point blank, Mom, am I mildly retarded? I thought that I was like, it was like not just a little slow, like it was a lot slow.
Yeah.
Right. And, so what I'm getting at is that simplification took me from that state to where I am now.
Johnny,
One concept.
How did she answer?
She said, no, you're not retarded. And she was very stern. And she says, you just challenge learning. Well, if you want to know some other funny shit, my tits were so fucking big, I felt some lumps in there. I asked her if I had breast cancer a few days later.
What's this? You could, I feel like you could maybe make a highlight reel today of audio clips of stuff that John said that we're typically just not supposed to say anymore, and you could put them in a one thing this morning of just highlight after highlight. I was trying to hold it together there, but I was like,
well, obviously, when I'm telling a story about what I said and way back when that word, I did slip that other word out. But that's when it comes down to it, it's like I have some gay buddies, right? And I love them the same as everybody else. And sometimes the word faggot will come screaming out of my mouth. But they understand who I am. They understand that I'm not I'm a very, very liberated person. I don't throw those terms around with any sort of negative connotation in terms of the real situations.
Well, it's funny, and I'm just going to call it out. And AJ, so somebody said we're not supposed to say those words anymore. And you know what? I'm gonna have some fun, but also seriousness about it. I've never met this person named somebody. It's the same thing on the calendar. There's someday and one day. And somebody said I can't say the word midget anymore. Oh, who said that?
Well, because somebody was using these terms as like some sort of like, using it as like a truly a hurtful way versus, and that's what took those terms and flipped them over.
And I do want to make it serious for a moment, and loaded with love. And AJ, I'm going to go with this because I asked AJ this question a couple of days ago. AJ's daughter has autism, and often we use words that might offend people. And I asked AJ how does he feel when people use certain words that might be linked to how they might relate to.
We had this conversation on the show a couple of days ago.
Exactly, and I appreciated it because AJ, what did you say, brother?
Yeah, I said it's all in context, and I said when I know the people and I know their character and I know, you know what I mean, then I don't take it personally, right? You don't. Yes. You understand who they are, and you understand the context and of the situation and the conversation and how it's being used. And the intent behind it and stuff, right? And then it gets,
and I know it's too often. I think too many folks get their knickers in a knot, which is, oh my God, hold on a second here. You don't know that John and AJ know each other quite well, and they've gotten to know each other, and John knows AJ, and AJ knows the context, and so then with the context and the history there's no offense taken. And I think that's where sometimes people are like that person over there is offended. Well, who the fuck are you being offended? Because you're not part of this relationship. You know what I mean?
And AJ hit it so good with we lost him. Looks like a battery went dead. Yeah. Well, what I was saying for everybody to hear is AJ understands that it's coming from, my character. I'm nothing but positive. If I was some nasty old fucker serving up negativity and constantly saying things to hurt people, now all of a sudden that term doesn't quite work the same.
That's exactly it. So, Johnny, before you go, man, we got some good comments here before we say goodbye, brother. So I want to get to the comments here quickly here. Bernard, yes, I see AJ has his name fixed now. Bernard, how did the call go, man? So, boys, one of our great community members, Bernard B. Driven Equipment, there had an investors call, and we're still eager to hear how that is going there, Bernard, with you. So thanks for sharing that with us, brother. I'm back, longer call than expected. Lady Drew coming in here as well. Happy upcoming Independence Day. And then Holroyd comes in. Adam comes in with some great comments, actually. A lot of time, they don't understand the meaning of the word. We had a guy at work that was offended because someone used the word retarded. He was offended because his son was autistic. Interesting, because that's the conversation we're having right now, Adam, with AJ and Johnny. The whole management team went around telling us that we couldn't use that word anymore, told them that I was offended. Both my sons are autistic and neither one of them are retarded. So there you go. So, Adam, both So Adam, AJ. Adam's sons are both autistic and neither one of them are retarded. Interesting conversation, Adam. I appreciate you sharing. Adam, I'm really grateful for you sharing that with us, brother. Thank you for sharing that. And like I said, I in many ways, these last 3 minutes, the purpose we're having this show, because I wanted to create a show which is not stuck, Johnny, back in the woke world where we can't say anything, but we can have conversations that can be educational, that can be supportive, that can have context around conversations that make people feel welcome. AJ.
No, 100%. I think it's important that we talk about stuff. I think there's been an overcorrection on some of these things, right? And I think there's been a sensitivity now to things that I'm always big on the four agreements, and I'm always talking about that book and how much I love it and how much I've been able to incorporate those agreements into my life. And one of them, which is probably one of the hardest ones to do and probably would be really hard for a lot of people in today's world, is not to take things personally, right?
Yes.
Hey, not everything is about you.
Wow. That goes back to the person sitting over there saying, I'm offended by something that person said. Well, it's actually not about you. It goes back to Holroyd saying, Holroyd's people in his office are all pissed off. Holroyd's like, well, actually, it's not about you. I have 2 sons that are autistic, and I won't. What are you doing here? And that's where the world's gotten all fucking got their knickers in or not.
Yep.
It's totally, and we just end up giving all this time and energy, about arguing about the stuff that it just, you know what I mean? It just doesn't matter. There's so much more important things for us to be putting our time and energy into. And it's like we're distracting ourselves from the main things that we should be focusing on by getting worked up about all these little things on the periphery and just being like, oh, this is important. It's like, no, that's not important. Right? Like,
don't get lost in the details, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of the details, Johnny, you got the crew coming in here. Who showed up yesterday? Who's showing up today, brother?
Actually, we've got, that's a good question. Terry's got the list of arrivals. So,
yeah, that's awesome. I know. So, can I tell you something, brother? I say this with lots of love. I love when I ask you about these moments. I love seeing a smile show up on your face. I really do, because I ask it and I see this big grin showing up because I can see happiness coming towards you this week. And I just got goosebumps, literally.
Yeah, I didn't realize the crew is actually 16, she said.
What?
Yeah, including the 2 of us. There's 14 people showing up.
That's a crew, man. I didn't realize you had 16 coming this week. That's awesome.
Every goddamn bed in the place is going to be filled.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I can see that big grin on your face. That's such a
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, what do you got going on today? You got a Tuesday lift day going on, or what?
Today's a day off, actually. And what I'm going to do this week, I'm actually going to kind of get myself, I would say undertrained, but I'm going to make sure that I'm not overtrained, so I have the extra energy to really invest in the family and friends that are here.
Nice.
I get a little overtrained. Sometimes, you're not quite as spicy as you might be if you're, kind of right, feeling totally recovered. So I'm saving my spice for the weekend because it's basically Friday, Saturday are going to be, hot and heavy, having fun days. So
that's awesome. All right, pal. Well, listen, a lot of great show, great conversation today. What a great show. You, me, and AJ, and we had Marty on the show here today, and a lot of fun here. So I'm glad we got after it. You enjoy your day today. Stay warm. Stay, I guess probably stay cool. It's probably warm out there in California today, isn't it?
It's not a cloud in the sky out here, bro.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
That's it.
All right.
Have a good loop, guys. I got to take a piss.
You get out of here. Johnny's going to get out of here, guys.
Johnny, have a good one.
All right.
Have a good one, AJ. Great to see you, brother.
All right, Johnny's out of here. You got Keith and AJ left in the lab here. Quarter to the top of the second hour. AJ, a lot of fun today, man.
Great day.
Yeah. A lot of fun here. We are going to Jimmy. We're going to figure out the mute. So, Jimmy, my goal here is with Zeglen is to get him a button so he can do like I'm doing here, which is and actually, if you remember when you and I did the Business Athlete podcast, you were sitting here, I was sitting here. We were doing mute buttons back and forth that we were over going over our mics. So we'll get better at that. But here's what we are going to do in this segment of the show, AJ. This is the part of the show where I go to what's called the community corner, and we like to take the old Mornings in the Lab spotlight and drive on into the LinkedIn community and drive on into the Substack community and shine it on people. So we're going to do that here. So Jimmy, we're going to do the community corner with AJ Zeglen here this morning. Guys, what if your brain's been playing tricks on you and your career needs a reboot? And the best leadership lesson comes from a pile of shit. Yeah, it says poop on my notes, but I'm saying shit. Welcome to the community corner where we connect LinkedIn and Substack on Mornings Alive with Keith and friends. Let's get right into it, you guys. And we're going to make it sound just like this. All right. Dopamine double cross. Yeah, here we go. You're going to outsmart. You ever feel like your phone's got you on a leash? Well, Dan Zachariah cracked the code. Turns out it's not about willpower or motivation. It's about dopamine. Your brain's hooked on those quick hits, Instagram, YouTube, late night scrolling. But when it's time for real work, like that 5 a.m. wake up, your brain it wants some more. It wants more phone. So Dan flipped the script by swapping out those deep, cheap dopamine hits for productive ones, checking off habits, learning from podcasts, and journaling at night. Now his brain craves progress, not procrastination. The lesson? Don't fight your nature. You got to rewire it. Build a morning routine your brain actually wants and watch your consistency go through the roof. AJ, we got Dan talking about the dopamine hits. Any comments on the dopamine hits, my brother?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's our body's response to an action, to an event that's happening. And there's just like he said, there's ways to do it where we can get something productive out of it, something useful out of it, something that helps us develop and grow out of it, or we can do it just consuming meaningless material, right? So it's really our choice how we want to get that release, how we want to get that hit, but we can definitely pick choices that are going to be productive for our development, right?
Keeping it going in the community corner here, the Career GPS, 5 stops on the road to what am I even doing? Wow. You ever stare at the ceiling and think, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Well, Sam Coolney did, and he came back with the 5 career power-ups. 5 of them. 1, ask for help. People love to help. You just got to ask. True story. People always love to help. Love to. 2, take initiative. Show that you can do the work before you ask for the reward. Number 3, master the art of figuring it out. Your new secret weapon. Number 4, be the guy with the rare skills. Make yourself indispensable. And number 5, find a leader who believes in you, and then go all in to prove them right. These aren't just career tips. They're a roadmap for anyone who wants to stop drifting around and start owning their own story. What would you add, you guys? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. What would you add to get after it for the Career GPS? 5 steps on the road to what am I even doing? You're sitting back, you're stuck. You want to hit the snooze button right now? Get up, get after, take initiative, master the art of figure it out, and be the guy with the rare skills. And hey, I'll give you guys something to think about right now. There's a lot of folks right now that are putting their head in the sand with AI. True story. You can be the leader, you can be the follower. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to my peers out there, to my guys that are 30, 40, 50. Lean into the technology. Don't be the guy in the encyclopedias. How do I know? Because every guy's going to come to you. True story, you guys. Lean into it. All right, EQ over IQ, the real currency of leadership. Think being the smartest guy in the room is enough. Well, Tim Thomas says think again. CEOs are on the hunt for emotional intelligence, EQ, not just IQ. Yeah. Teams crave it. Cultures collapse without it, and leaders who get it are the ones who win. It's about reading people, staying cool under fire, and building a vibe that people want to be a part of. In a world obsessed with tech and AI, it's the human skills that are making the difference. If you want to lead, start leveling up your EQ. It's the game changer. That's what the real business athletes are doing. I'll tell you, AJ, EQ is something we don't talk enough about, brother.
No, sorry. Just a delay there as well.
Yeah. We don't talk enough about EQ. We actually don't. And it's something, it's a super skill, a superpower that I don't know if us men, us human beings spend enough time talking about emotional intelligence.
Well, probably not, right? It's a skill though. And like any skill, it can be learned, right? It's just practice. It's just reps. So it's bringing awareness to where we think we're at with it, finding out different skills and tools that we could employ to help further develop it, and then just getting in reps with those, right? So it's it probably isn't talked about enough. We probably haven't brought enough awareness to it. The cool thing is though it is a skill, right? We classify it as a skill. So what we know about skills is skills can be practiced and we can get better at them. So it's not like whatever our level of emotional intelligence is, that it's just set for the rest of our life. If we think it'll be beneficial and important for us to raise it, awesome. Okay, cool. We could get to work on that. Here's some strategies to do that. Go do them consistently and you're going to improve upon it like anything else.
I would tell you the game changer for me is when I learned about emotional intelligence and then I leaned into it and then I worked at it. Going to therapy, having awareness, going to therapy, having awareness, meeting you, going to the gym, but consistently leaning into it. You're going through my divorce, going through my journey in life, being called a narcissist, being made aware of that, having, intelligence emotionally was important. And then the moment I kept leaning into that, man, my leadership abilities, my parenting abilities, my friendship, like everything just became much better for me when I leaned into the awareness around my emotional intelligence. Obvious, but not obvious to everyone, Zeglen.
And, one of those things that we've been talking about, other things of this show too, simple in concept, right? But not always easy. Sometimes the simple things can be very difficult to do consistently, right? Yes. For us to have some emotional intelligence, we have to have that skill of not taking things personally. We have to be able to receive feedback and criticism and stuff from people around us, and use it in a way or see it as an opportunity for us to get better and to grow, right? And a lot of times our ego can get in the way of us further developing our emotional intelligence.
I love the superpower of emotional intelligence. And I say it too because in my experience, at least men, my peers, all don't lean into it. So when and that's one thing I've learned about Johnny as I've gotten to know him, and I know that about you and even Marty. What a wonderful way to be intimate with a man when you can have an emotional, intelligent conversation with a man. And I say that in a way of with love, because you find yourself wanting to walk towards somebody when that intelligence starts to come out and you can have awareness with your feelings, and it's actually a magical thing when emotional intelligence gets put on the table and you both can lean into it. Because in my experience of being a man and my experience growing up, that wasn't always a thing. You know what I'm saying, AJ?
Absolutely. We talk about vulnerability all the time, right? That's where it starts with, right? Can you be vulnerable and show that strength in that moment to actually share what you're thinking, what you're feeling, actually share who you are with somebody, right? But it takes a lot of vulnerability, it takes a lot of courage to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's keep the show going here into the next part of our community corner, the poop principle. When How to lead when life gets messy. All right, let's get real. Let's get after it. Sometimes life just dumps on you, not in the metaphorical sense. No. Stacey Case literally found herself with shit on her. Yes, actual shit. She calls it the mighty, messy, biological, questionable elephant in the motherfucking room. Instead of hiding it, Stacey snapped the photo, posted it on LinkedIn, and used it as a lesson in leadership and resilience. Yeah, we got her picture right now with poo on her hand. Yeah, her message: when life gets shitty, you've got three choices: duck, laugh, or own it and share the story. Real leaders, they don't pretend everything's perfect. They show up, they mess and all, and keep moving forward. The next time you're hit with a surprise like Stacey, remember the best leaders aren't afraid to get a little dirty and have a laugh along the way. That's your community corner, you guys. Which story hit you the hardest or made you laugh the most? And if you want a story featured on the spotlight, I invite you to follow us on Substack, LinkedIn, and tag us in your next post. And we might just bring you up on stage and celebrate you. Oh yeah, Jimmy, I see that. I'm looking at the wrong camera. Yeah, I just figured I'd look at. I'm gonna go here, Jimmy. Why don't I do this one now too? I'll just go look at this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk over here right now. Boom, boom. All right. Okay, guys, got a couple more things to go before. I see we got a lot of great comments coming up here. There's some things I didn't realize that, and we're going to get into here. All right. Every team has that moment when, hold on a second here. Let's get some sounds off. Here we go. Every team has that moment when burnout hits, systems break, and everyone's just going through the motions. You can either accept it or you can bring in someone who actually gives a damn about results. Well, there's a guy out there who's rescued failing hotels, flipped chaos into smooth operations, and proved that storytelling isn't just for marketing, it can change how teams function. He's led in luxury resorts and canteens. He's built brands and coached frontline teams. He's been a chef, a butler, a strategist, even a master chef finalist. Guys, I want to invite you to meet Ratko Aveskovitz, the guy who fixes what's broken, builds what's missing, and trains people to experience, not just tasks. So, if you're ready for someone who skips the hype and gets things working, I invite you to follow Ratko. Yeah, he's on the screen right now. Ratko and shake him, brother. You might look forward to Mondays if you connect with Ratko. Listen, Ratko, we're celebrating you today. Here's how it works. Myself, AJ, Johnny, Marty would love to have you in the lab, but not Jimmy. No, Jimmy doesn't want. Producer Jimmy, if you show up in the lab, Jimmy's not letting you in. You're going to have to convince him. But anyways, we'd love to have you in the lab. We'd love to celebrate you and somebody in your orbit as part of the next Creator Spotlight, the Community Corner. Yeah, we could talk about that little beard you got going on there, Ratko. Get after it. All right. Jimmy, let's move on to the next one here this morning. We got one more to celebrate over on the Substack. Speaking of Substack, I'm seeing people pop up on Substack left and right. I was telling you guys for years, you guys got to be there. We're going to start showing up on a Substack now. Johnny's telling you, I can see the future. I see the future. If I'm telling you something today, it's important 2 years from now. True story. All right. You ever get that itch? No, not that itch down there. AJ, not the one down there. Or the one over there. No, you ever get that itch to burn it all down and start over? You're good at what you do, but you deep down, you know there's something else calling. Well, one morning, this guy actually did it. He sold the gear, left the steady gig, hit the road, but nothing but a camera, a map, and a wild need to see what's out there. Most of us just talk about it. He's built a new life out of it. Now his photos tell the story of forgotten towns and changing times, reminding us there's beauty in the ordinary if you're willing to look twice. He's helped over 136,000 people find the creative groove, launched a podcast, built a thriving community, and even teaches a course that takes the mastery out of film photography. This morning in the lab, we are excited to celebrate Kyle McDougall, photographer, educator, and the guy who proves you don't need permission to reinvent yourself. If you're looking for a little push or a reason to take the leap, go check out Kyle. And hey, Kyle, who am I? I'm Keith Billis. I'm the host of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We have a little segment on the show called the Community Corner, the Creator Spotlight, happening right now. We celebrate folks like you on LinkedIn and Substack to shine the light and bring some great joy to the world of people doing some great stuff out there. And here's how it works, Kyle. We'd love to have you on the show at this time. We'd love to bring you on the show, get to know you. and then give you the spotlight so we can celebrate somebody. Beard, the guy's got a fucking awesome beard, dude. We'd love to have you and your beard on the show. Yeah, we could do a beard comparison experience. So Kyle, dial us up, subscribe to the show, and join us on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Would love to have you on the show to hang out with you. All right, Jimmy, we're coming up to the top of the hour. Wow, Uncle Keith could tell time today. We got after it. We got some great comments that I want to get to, and I'm going to do that right now. Just going to change the tunes up a little bit. AJ, we got some good comments, man. Holy smokes. I'm taken aback by some of the comments here. I got to go back a little bit. Bernard, B-Drive. AJ, Bernard's youngest has autism. She's 21 now and writing a book. Like, what are the odds? I'm going to be honest here. What are the odds? What are the actual odds that on the show here today, we got yourself with an autistic child. We got Adam Holroyd with some autistic children. We have Bernard with some autistic children. Like, what are the odds that we all come together on this morning show and there's a common denominator that autism laces itself through the conversation, brother?
I think it's becoming, well, I think part of it now is that they never really used to diagnose it before, right? And they just weren't sure how to diagnose it, and they weren't sure what to call it. And so now that there is a diagnosis and a process that people go through for it, it seems like there's probably a lot more people now than there used to be. In reality, there's probably the same amount of people. They just didn't have a title for it, or you weren't under a certain umbrella, right? And now that you are, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to go very far. Once we obviously had a child with autism and you start learning about it and talking to other people, I feel like every, second or third person that you talk to also has a friend, a family member, in their immediate family, or a cousin, a relative, or aunt or uncle, anything like that, right? That is also on the autism spectrum. So, and the spectrum is pretty expansive, right? It's a very big umbrella that a lot of stuff falls under. But yeah, there's quite a few people within that community, which is always kind of just nice when you come across other people, right? That have a similar or a shared experience with you, right?
Yeah, a shared experience and a shared lifestyle. They can share some of the challenges that you perhaps have and some of the moments that you and your family go through, right? We have Adam Holroyd coming in by saying sounds like a pretty smart young lady to me, because AJ, Bernard's daughter, 21, writing a book. That's pretty awesome, man. Writing a book, Bernard's daughter. She has always been advanced until getting 4 vaccines at once. A few days later, she had panic attacks, and 5 years later, finally a proper diagnosis and at times meds. Bernard, brother, thanks for sharing that, man. I'm so grateful that you take the time to share that with us in the community here. And obviously, you got lots of love and support from us here. And the fact that, AJ can relate to that, I think it's quite fascinating to me. Thank you both. She's truly a blessing from God. I bet that she is, Bernard. And then in my opinion, she was high functioning all her young years. At 12, those shots did this to her, that she had negative effects versus the positive life she was living before. Thank you, Lady Drew. And Lady Drew with some comments as well coming in here. And Lady Drew, thank you for everyone for all of your thoughts. Lady Drew, you always offer such great support on the show. And Bernard and Lady Drew going after, man. You guys are so awesome, man. The kindness is just beyond me. Sad, the odds are high. We give our kids almost 84 shots now in school. And yes, more education in the diagnosis of the spectrum, which is coming back to your comment there, AJ. And then Bernard coming back with, Lady Drew coming in with saying many mental health issues are misdiagnosed and due to the symptoms being closely similar to other mental health issues. And I got to think that's obviously a common situation that happens. And then Bernard coming back saying, I'm researching the possibilities of metal detox for the body, helping many of the bad symptoms that go with autism and allowing the real talents to shine. Bernard offering some comments as well. There we go. Yeah, AJ, what a good show today, man. We have 2 hours in the books here. We're just wrapping it up here. I know we're going to rock and roll out of here. Jimmy, how was the show, brother? I want to see your comments as well. AJ, looking at you, pal. How was your experience? It was a better experience today.
Show. Loved it. Loved being here in the lab. One thing, if I could just quickly touch on, going all the way back to when we were talking about the online dating. and just something that I wanted to throw in there for people, because if you are using it, I don't want people to get discouraged by it. There's certain things that have just made their way in society, then people are going to use it. Just if they have that understanding that nothing is inherently good or bad on its own, right? So yes, this tool exists. How we use this tool, how you choose to use the tool, is really going to determine your outcomes with it. Is it set up to easily swipe and swipe and swipe? Absolutely. Do you have to do that? You do not. You can choose to put a little bit of effort in getting to know someone and communicating with them, right? Instead of just losing patience and swiping. Every time we swipe, we know that's easy to do, because the alternative is us having to improve and get better. And that's hard for people to do. So the easy thing is just swipe someone new. You are the one common denominator that is going to be in each and every one of those relationships, right? So just spend some time. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to get better. Give some effort into the communication. Maybe the relationship goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't, but you probably will have learned something. You will have developed and grown as a person, right? So even though the app is set up this way, you don't have to use it that way. You can still use it in a productive way. You can still put some effort into those interactions with people. You can still grow and develop as a person. And I know the easy thing to do is just to swipe, because, hey, then I don't got to change anything about myself. I could just swipe to the next person, right? Spend some time, be the type of person that you would want to be in a relationship with, right? And anyway, so that's all I'll say about that.
It's interesting to hear you say it, though. I want to play off that for a quick second before we go, because when you're like, it's easier to swipe instead of make the changes with your own mirror, right? Because it must be that person. Swipe. Must be you. So you swipe, you meet them, you go for a date. Must be them. Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. Do it again.
Denominator there, right? So maybe it's a clue for us that we could also improve ourselves, right?
Dating in today's world would scare me, because your options are infinitely limitless. And you swipe on Tuesday, I don't like that. You come back Wednesday. You could literally be swiping for the rest of your life. Like, honest to God, AJ, you could actually be swiping for the rest of your life, because in the back of your mind, there's always another choice.
Yeah, there always is. And when you have that, and when that's your default and you just go to that, you lose the opportunity to improve as a person. And in my opinion, you lose the opportunity to experience the greatest thing in a relationship. And that's the work that goes into it. That's the beauty and the magic of it. The compromise, the communication, the misunderstandings, the arguments, and how you work through them. That's where all the value, that's where all the magic, that's where all the good stuff is in the relationship, right? And unfortunately, if we have that, if we just, every time something doesn't work out, there's a little bit of resistance or friction or something hard to go through. If we just jump ship to the next one and the next one and the next one, then you're going to find yourself in this very unfulfilling cycle, right? And you're going to miss out. I'm not perfect for my wife, not even close. She's not the perfect person for me. I'm not the perfect person for her, right? I like that. I like that we have to work to get along with each other. We have to work to understand each other. We have to work to communicate with each other. We have to work on spending time with each other and all these little things. That's the good stuff, right? And that's the stuff that we unfortunately think that should just happen without any effort, and it should just be some sort of fairy tale type of experience, where everything just magically happens perfectly all the time. I like that we're not perfect for each other. And I don't think there is someone out there that's perfect for you, right? I think you make up your mind and you make the decision that you're going to put effort into something and work towards it. And then that's when you have success with it.
Words of advice from AJ Zeglen this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. We're going to wrap it up. Great comments, man. That's some I always learn something, and I just learned something in the last 5 minutes, and I thoroughly have enjoyed that. Hey, looking at the comments here, we got Bernard coming in with, I think school pressures these days are extremely high as well when you are a little different. She's tall and can read at 12th grade level and third grader before. So awkward feeling many ways, talking about our autistic children here with Bernard and Adam and AJ and so forth. And then we have Global coming with medicine is based on trial and error process. AI gives the best, worst options today. Yeah, true. And Global also comes in and says, all relationships have beginning and end. Enjoy the middle. And that's what AJ you're talking about, which is enjoy the middle of the relationship because that's where all the work happens. And then Global comes in with the food we eat is not monitored or understood. Global, you made a comment earlier in the show, which I missed, but I wanted to get to. We were having some fun. But it said here, I just got to quickly pull it up here, guys. This is the trifecta of men, jock, cool guy, and the married guy. Hey, Global, which one am I? Because I'm thinking I'm kind of all of them, Global. I'm thinking like I'm most the man, I'm the jock, I'm the cool guy, and the married guy. So I'm just curious, Global, which one do I fit into that bucket there? Because there's 4 of them there, and there was, well, so anyways, Global, I would love to hear your comments, Global, on which one, where Uncle Keith fits into that title there. I would love it, because that might make or break my day today, Global. Just true story. Just being straight with you. Speaking of true story, the morning store is open. The Morning Store. You can buy your own true story hat, like Adam Holroyd. Adam Holroyd bought the Mornings in a Lab hat. And I would invite you guys all to check out some of the product we have there. Looking forward to creating some new products. I'm gonna create a shirt that says "I know" on it, and I'm gonna give it free to all the motherfuckers out there that are lazy and they're just slobs and they're like, "I know," because they know everything. I know, yeah. And I'm gonna get a shirt for my mom that says "Just walk." Just for my mom, just a walking shirt. So, anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here today, and I'm looking at the comments here. Oh, here we go. Global, you are, but in Morning Club, the first rule is never talk about Morning Club. Oh, Global, I was waiting for you, man. I was waiting for that comment, which is awesome. Okay, well, listen. Oh, there's that sound. There's that sound that kicks off the show and ends the show. Hey, Jimmy, what a lot of fun today. Oh, Keith, who does your merch? Is it in-house? Oh, Bernard, I found a site called The Fourth Wall, and they do my merch for me. So I don't have to order any inventory. It's all on demand. I go there and make my products up there, put it into the store. They ship it, and they just send me the money. So when Adam was grateful to go and buy a hat, I made the hat for Adam, put it on the site. They shipped the hat to Adam, and then they deposited the little bit of money into our account on that product there. So, Bernard, I'd invite you. It's called The Fourth Wall, and there's nothing you have to do, Bernard, other than just set your product up and rock and roll. So, there you go. So that's how it works. Okay, so tomorrow we got a guest tomorrow on the show. Second hour, Community Corner. We're back at it, guys. 8:00 Eastern time. You know where to find us, right here on LinkedIn, right here on YouTube, right here on X. Myself, John, Marty, AJ. Vistaprint. I do know Vistaprint, Lady Drew. I absolutely do. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are just tuning in and giving me all the goods. I love it. Okay, we kicked the show off today with some conversation about the Decathlon 100. We talked about push-ups versus dips. We talked about leadership today. That's what I'm setting up with about 30 channels this week. Bernard, I can help you, man. If you need any help, like I told you before, Bernard, I can help you. Send me a note, and I'm a day late. Sounds like yes, you are. But anything I can do to help you, as I told you before, I'm happy to help. Just drop me a text, and we'll get after it. Speaking of text, Jimmy, let's put the line up here, guys. We got the Mornings in Lab hotline 431-300-3005. The only morning show hotline there is in the whole fucking world, actually. Send us a call, send us a text, drop us a voicemail, and join the conversation that happens along the way. Guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 8:00 right here. Jimmy, let's get out of here.